SpongeBob SquarePants has been running since 1999 and already has more than 15 seasons and approximately 316 complete episodes. It's about the characters living in Bikini Bottom, mostly focusing on the employees of the Krusty Krabs. It is one of the most successful shows as it only had a budget of less than $200 million, but has generated over $13 billion from selling merchandise only. And today we shall see every character who majored in the show, what type of species they are, then look at all of the legends responsible for the success of this show 26 years after its debut. Let's start with Gary the snail, who is the pet sea snail of SpongeBob, and they both live in a pineapple house in Bikini Bottom. He is like a real-world cat, and is a domesticated pet who produces the meow sound kind of like a cat. And a few points to note about Gary is that he hates taking baths and is also very gluttonous when it comes to eating. He does not do or say much in the show, and is just a relief character and the companion to SpongeBob. Mr. SquarePants, on the other hand, is the owner of Gary, and is a childish and a joyful sea sponge who is also known to be a very hard-working gentleman. He works as a fry cook at the Krusty Krab alongside Squidward and his boss Mr. Krabs, and is known to take pleasure in cooking and does it as more of a hobby than a job. No one cooks the Krabby Patties better than him, and is mostly a master in everything he does. The only challenge SpongeBob faces is driving, and has always been bad at it for all those seasons since the first episode. Both Gary and SpongeBob are voiced by the talented Tom Kenny. Patrick is the best friend of SpongeBob, and is also just as childish as his friend. He is a dumb and overweight pink sea star who has never gotten a job in his life. He lives under a rock in Bikini Bottom, and is also the neighbor to SpongeBob and Squidward. Both he and SpongeBob are always loud, which makes Squidward very angry every day. He loves playing with jellyfish, and also eats a lot just like Gary. He is just an overgrown baby who loves to play and spend quality time with his buddy. Voiced by Bill Fagerback. Plankton is the owner of the Chum Bucket, which is the rival food restaurant of the Krusty Krabs. He is married to a waterproof computer called Karen, who is also his sidekick and co-worker in the business. He is basically the main villain of the show because he always wanted to steal the secret formula which contained the ingredients to making the perfect Krabby Patties. His business is very unsuccessful and is the archenemy to Mr. Krabs, whose business is booming and very profitable. Larry, on the other hand, is a lobster and a gym influencer in Bikini Bottom. He is a jacked lobster who spends most of his time in Goo Lagoon and is believed to be the strongest creature in Bikini Bottom. He is a popular individual who has many adoring fans that crowd around him on the beach. He is also a lifeguard and is generally a kind and polite guy who helps anyone that requires any kind of help. Both these two are voiced by Mr. Douglas Lawrence. And now to the main tycoon known as Mr. Eugene Krabs, who is the sole owner of the Krusty Krab restaurant and the father of Pearl, who is a young female whale. This guy is obsessed with money and can go to great lengths just to collect $1. SpongeBob and the gloomy Squidward works for him, and it is said that he pays them minimum wage. He really respects SpongeBob for his skills in the kitchen, and knows that he is trustworthy when it comes to Plankton's schemes and manipulation. The love for money made him very greedy, and is known to treasure his profits more than he treasures his employees and customers. And even though he earns good money, he never spends it on anything expensive, not even on his daughter. Voiced by the amazing Clancy Brown. Potty the parrot does not live in Bikini Bottom, and is just the pet parrot to Patchy the pirate. He is a low-budget designed marionette who is usually obnoxious and annoying towards his master. They were always together in every episode, and were responsible for hosting the show in the first few seasons. He was voiced by Steven Hillenburg, who was an American animator and voice actor, and is also remembered for being a marine biology educator. He sadly passed away on November 26, 2018 at a young age of 57, and his cause of demise was believed to be amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. The most relatable character is Squidward. He is the grumpy neighbor to SpongeBob and Patrick, and also works in the Krusty Krab as the cashier. He also has the love of music, especially playing the clarinet, but is not really good at it. And even though his name is Squidward, he is actually an octopus, and is just a selfish and a sassy fella who just wants to be left alone, especially by SpongeBob and Patrick. The only time he gets happy is when SpongeBob is not around, and is always seen enjoying taking baths and resting alone in his silent house. Voiced by Roger Bumpass. Sandy is an American squirrel from the surface who wears a diving suit and lives in Bikini Bottom in her air-filled glass tree dome. She is known to love adventure and traveling, and is also very good in karate. She initially lived in Texas before moving to Bikini Bottom, and exhibits many characteristics of a cowgirl and is also heard speaking in a heavy southern accent. She is actually more intelligent than Plankton, and is a multi-talented scientist and inventor who has fixed and invented quite a few many gadgets in the underwater city. The beautiful voice of Carolyn Lawrence was used in voicing the character. Mrs. Puff is the driving teacher at boating school, and is mostly seen trying to tutor SpongeBob and help him in getting his driver's license. She is a pufferfish who is mostly seen wearing a sailor uniform, and is very happy and talented in her work of successfully teaching her students to drive the boats. The only thing she hates is teaching SpongeBob because he never gets even the basic methods of driving, and is always seen wrecking the boats and crushing the cars along with Mrs. Puff. She was voiced by Mary Jo Catlett. Karen is the wife of Plankton, and is a waterproof supercomputer who lives in the Chum Bucket laboratory. She is the one behind the master plans which Plankton uses with his quest to steal the Krabby Patty formula. As a computer, she is one of the smartest resident in Bikini Bottom and has a clever and analytical personality which she uses to aid in Plankton's schemes. She also works as a chef and a cashier in the Chum business, but rarely works due to the bankruptcy of the business. Voiced by Jill Talley. Mr. Krabs has a daughter called Pearl, who is a young teenage whale that lives in a hollow anchor with her dad. Krabs always wants her daughter to continue the restaurant business when she grows up, but Pearl never plans to do anything like that, and only wants to be a fashion model. The reason she is a whale and her father is a crab has never been addressed, and maybe she just got adopted. She was voiced by Lori Allen. And other minor characters of the show include the ladyfish who only appeared in the fishbowl episode, and was a light orange fish with red-orange fins and lips. Doodle Bob was an antagonistic creature who looked like the low-budget remake of SpongeBob, and is actually a creature drawn by SpongeBob when he was using the magic pencil. He was intended to be a prank on Squidward, but Doodle Bob ended up being a villain. The Flying Dutchman is a ghost who was not as friendly, and was known as the devil of the sea by those that heard of his tales. He steals people's souls for fun, and is also known to have quite a few ghost friends. King Neptune is the supreme ruler of the ocean, and is also married to Queen Amphitrite. There was this villain called Moth, who was the archenemy of Mermaid Man. And finally Man Ray, who is among the major antagonists of the show, and is a manta ray-themed supervillain who often terrorizes Bikini Bottom.